We've all had conversations where things took a negative turn. It might start as a simple chat, but then the other person changes the meaning of our words. Before we know it, we get upset, lose their respect, and maybe even behave poorly. Let's talk about how to deal with someone who uses sneaky conversational tactics to make you look foolish. In this video, you'll see some common tricks people might use on you and learn how to counter them, so you can leave these tense situations with more respect than you had before. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell button so you won't miss any of our videos. First, to deal with a conversational bully, you must recognize the situation before it escalates. Typically, a person will show an aggressive attitude early on through their tone of voice and choice of words. They might start by saying they didn't mean to target a specific group, but then point out that a particular group is mainly involved. The idea is that even when people are subtly aggressive, they often hint that they're about to criticize you. If someone asks, "Well, what do you have to say for yourself?" Be on guard. They believe you've made a mistake, so you need to be careful with your response. Not because you're necessarily wrong, but because they might be trying to trick you into saying something they can misrepresent and argue against. This often begins with the "so you're saying" tactic. Here's what it might sound like. So you're saying women should fix the problem of masculinity? Are you saying women want to control everything? So anyone who believes in equality, like feminists or others, should give up because it won't happen? To be clear, you're saying we should organize our societies like lobsters? The typical pattern is when someone says, "So you're saying," and then twists or simplifies what you actually said. It's easy to spot and avoid by responding, "Actually, what I meant was," and clarifying your point. For example, "I'm saying that it's natural for animals and humans to organize their social structures in certain ways, similar to how lobsters do, but there's a subtler way people might twist your beliefs and attack them." It happens when someone's words hint that you believe something you don't without actually saying it. In business, this is known as presuming the sale. Similar to when a car salesman asks, "Would you like leather or fabric interior?" before you've even decided to buy the car. Now, when making a significant purchase like that, you'd probably catch on and say, "Hold on, who said I was buying anything?" But in everyday conversations, this could happen without you realizing it. Here's how it might happen. When someone asks, "Why should women put up with it?" There are underlying assumptions here. Firstly, there's something that requires acceptance, and secondly, the person believes women should accept it. The trap here is to fall into directly answering the question, as many of us do in similar situations. This can lead us to argue for things we don't actually believe, simply out of habit. Instead, it's crucial to identify these hidden assumptions and confront them directly. For instance, when they say, "So they can choose and insist on that right, correct? They can do that, which is fine. But are you suggesting that this choice makes them unhappy?" This implies a presumption that choosing not to have children could lead to unhappiness, which may not necessarily be true for everyone. One simple thing you can do to ease communication is to deliberately adopt a relaxed posture throughout this conversation. This relaxed stance signals to your brain that everything is okay and helps you think more calmly. Taking pauses after each question allows you time to gather your thoughts before responding, which can improve clarity and confidence in your answers. Moreover, learning about frames and frame games in communication is helpful. Frames are the perspectives, assumptions, and contexts that shape how we interpret information. Understanding these dynamics can improve how you handle conversations. It allows you to see beyond the surface words and grasp deeper meanings. This knowledge helps you engage more effectively, making it easier to express your thoughts persuasively and understand other people's viewpoints better. Here's a simple example of the third conversational bully tactic, which is called the smash technique. This method subtly combines two different ideas into one statement. For instance, combining hostility and frustration makes it easier to overlook one issue while focusing on the other. Responding without addressing both can imply agreement with the hidden statement. This technique is frustrating because it introduces statements you might disagree with and moves on before you can address them. Another common tactic involves bombarding someone with rapid questions to pressure them into accepting certain points. Examples include questioning why only a few women lead major companies, why a pay gap still exists, and why women at certain organizations report being paid less than men. These rapid-fire questions aim to overwhelm and force agreement without a chance for thoughtful response. When confronted with multiple questions, it's natural to feel overwhelmed and lose focus. However, when using the smash technique in conversations, it's beneficial to slow down the pace and address each question or point separately. Rather than trying to answer everything at once, tackling one question at a time is more effective. This allows you to give more focused and thoughtful responses, ensuring clarity and coherence in your communication. This approach will enable you to navigate discussions more effectively and avoid being caught off guard by bundled or rapid-fire questions. So now you should be more aware of the "so you're saying" trap, where people misinterpret your statements, the assume the sale tactic, and of course the smash technique. These are common conversational strategies that can affect discussions, so understanding them can help you engage more effectively in conversations. Let's consider a very abstract idea, like the continuity in how animals and humans organize their structures. Without any visual or concrete examples, this concept can be difficult to grasp. Using visual imagery or relatable examples can help clarify complex ideas, making it easier for the other person to understand and engage with your point of view. For example, consider the statement, "It's absolutely inevitable, and 1/3 of a billion years of evolutionary history is behind that." While this is a strong point, it lacks emotional impact and may not fully engage the listener. Now let's move to how to persuade someone in such situations. To effectively persuade someone in these situations, it's crucial to avoid misrepresenting the other person's ideas, even if they're doing so to you. Straw manning occurs when you create a simplified or distorted version of their views and argue against that instead of their genuine beliefs. Instead, show that you're genuinely engaging with their actual points. Take the time to understand their perspective, which might involve asking for clarification, or asking them to repeat themselves so you can accurately grasp their true intentions. This approach fosters a more productive and respectful dialogue, increasing the likelihood of reaching a mutual understanding or agreement. After you've made an honest effort to understand the other person's perspective, it's important to ensure they can understand you, which is crucial for effective persuasion. One effective way to do this is by using visual imagery to illustrate your points. Now, see how adding a concrete example can change the perception. That's so long that 1/3 of a billion years ago, there weren't even trees. It's a long time. This vivid image makes the abstract concept of 1/3 of a billion years more relatable and impactful. Using concrete examples, people can easily imagine it is a smart, persuasive move. It helps to ground abstract ideas in reality, making them more understandable and memorable. Lastly, when engaging in a conversation, it is effective to show the other person that they already agree with you. This can be done by highlighting their behavior and statements aligning with your perspective. For example, instead of directly opposing someone's viewpoint, point out that they are doing exactly what they should be doing, digging deeper to understand the situation. In a discussion, someone might say, "Why should your right to free speech be more important than a trans person's right not to be offended?" The response could be, "Because to think freely, you have to risk being offensive. Look at our conversation now. You're willing to risk offending me to seek the truth. That's perfectly fine and shows your commitment to free speech." This technique can be powerful because it makes the person realize that their actions already support your viewpoint. Instead of trying to prove them wrong, you show them that their behavior aligns with your perspective, leading to a more productive discussion. People have a strong desire to remain consistent with their previous statements and actions, so this approach can be one of the few ways to persuade someone very stubborn. For instance, in a debate, if someone acknowledges that they're digging deeper to understand, they're already exercising their freedom of speech. This realization can make them feel more aligned with your point. However, it's important to handle this delicately. A gotcha moment can make the other person feel silly or wrong rather than happy to discover common ground. Instead of celebrating a win, focus on fostering mutual understanding. A final point of constructive criticism is that addressing the deeper, unstated emotional concerns can be more effective than just answering surface questions. For example, if someone perceives you as an enemy, finding common ground and shared interests can help transform the conversation from an argument into a more collaborative discussion. This approach improves the dialogue and shows that you're genuinely interested in understanding and resolving the other person's concerns. What do you think of these techniques? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification button to stay updated on the latest.